That's the scene witnessed every day in the banks in the last few weeks since the Central Bank of Nigeria purportedly ended the first phase of the deadline for the new Naira cash swap policy. It has been the case coupled with other sufferings and hardship Nigerians go through to access their own monies deposited at the various commercial banks across the country. The situation has continued unabated despite government's efforts to control the situation, which is charging and pitching citizens against each other as they fight publicly in banks. While some citizens think the note scarcity was becoming political, with only big men and terrorists accessing it, others feel it is just a policy abysmally implemented, hence their call for further extension of the new deadline.
Do the bank have the money? That's the question. And we are talking about politicians having the money. So let me tell you, the politicians are big shots. They control the economy, they control the world. They know where to get it. But the poor people cannot get it. I'm struggling now to get like 20,000 to send my mom in the village. I transfer money half for the village. They give her old money she cannot use. So I'm now trying to get about 20 or 30,000 to make sure that I send her right away in the village there.
To me, I believe it's political. Because if you said you've released money and we, the masses, are not seeing it, and you know, before bringing out this policy, you should know that it's close to election. And to me, personally, I believe the utmost reason why you do that has been defeated. Because whether you like it or not, the masses are not receiving the money. We are not seeing it anywhere. We've been here since morning. There is no money.
Well, we have not seen people giving us, in fact, nobody. I have not seen anybody that went into the counter and collect cash. So up to now, they are referring to us to the ATMs. And most of the ATMs don't have money. Even the ones that have money. You see a bank, you go after queuing of over 100 people in your front. At the end of the day, you'll be given 2,000.
2 days ago, I didn't get any money, and today I'm here also to withdraw. And as you can see, the ATM is not paying. Me, it is not politically motivated. You know, such kind of thing, although it's coming during the time of election, so some people will be saying it is politically motivated. If it is politically motivated, against who? Is it against the ruling party? Because as long as I'm concerned right now, it's only the ruling party that is complaining that it's politically motivated.
I think the cashless policy is politically motivated. Rather, I think it's one of the things that government has done to show up the economy. For myself, I think it's a welcome development. At least it will reduce inflation. Then all the banditries and all the money they are asking for might be on the decline as well. So I think it's a welcome development.
The federal government is not also leaving anything to chance, as it has intervened with many measures, including instructing the CBN to extend the first deadline of the cash swap and release of more cash to the bank just to reduce the suffering of the masses.
Government not worried about the redesign of the hardship that the redesign is causing to the citizens? Of course we are worried. We're not happy that citizens have to queue and struggle at bank ATMs to be able to get their cash. But this is a temporary solution.
But the impact of these efforts seems not to be sufficient as citizens continue to scramble for the Naira notes to no avail. These APC governors who met with the president think it's making them lose relevance in the face of their subjects. The governors want extension of the February 10 deadline and possible coexistence of both the old and the new notes.
Our request is for the deadline to be shifted, not only shifted, but the old currency should go along with the new currency until the old currency dies a natural death, which is possible. He said he will look into that.
But with President Muhammadu Buhari's insistence on consulting with the CBN before taking any step yet again, one wonders whether the government is disposed to give any directive that will help the situation. What it then means is that the suffering of the citizen may continue for a long time before the economy will be stabilized. Much as analysts see the CBN cash policy in a positive way of fighting corruption, they want government to prove the claim of being closer to the people and hearing their cries and expedite action to help the situation before it gets out of hand. Yeah, it is good to have you back, and there you have it, the scenario, how everything is right now in the public. And joining us live from Ibadan is Abdulaziz Olowo, the National Treasurer Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria, AMBAN. Many thanks for taking time to join us on the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And from our earlier discussion, it seems like this cash swap has affected you too, apart from, being the National Treasurer of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents, but being stuck in Ibadan right now because of the riots and protests. Do you mind sharing your experience with us on the rioting and protesting this cash swap has caused?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that we experienced this at the crucial time. But the basic truth is that the CBN, on their own part, they are lagging and lacking in the area of communication. Because when this policy was being formed, that was about 12 years ago, a lot of somersault policies have come and go and nothing has been done. But the major issue now is the cash redesign, which really put a lot of people in serious issue. And as it is, there is no better way CBN can achieve this than to work with the association, because we have our spread throughout the federation. So it's just for CBN to design their plan on how they can incorporate the association into the program. For instance, they said they only want to engage about 30,000 mobile money agents to be part of this program. Imagine the population of Nigeria. We have about 1.4 million agents out there that can serve this a different community. As a result of that, people are finding it difficult to get cash. But in a situation whereby CBN engaged the mobile money and bank association in Nigeria to distribute or to do a cash swapping for those that have the old currency and then exchange with the new one, it will be easier. There won't be any issue. There won't be any problem. So that area, I think CBN needs to sit back and look at how we can come into the system to help them. Because if we are not relevant in the first time, there won't be an association. Because we are relevant, that's why we have an agent around. If agents are not relevant, there won't be agents at all. It will just be within the bank and the MMOs. And if you look at those countries that are really promoting financial inclusion, that are doing well in this aspect, agents are still most relevant, because banks cannot be everywhere, but you leverage on the agent strength, agent network to reach the last mile. And another thing that CBN did that I look at that it does not really make any sense to me as a person. How could you deploy DSS and EFCC to terminal point? They've relegated them. That's not their duty. People are there that are squandering the money. They go to party, they laugh with the money, they spend the money anyhow. EFCC is not going after them. DSS is not going after them. But those agents, they are trying to serve their community to make sure that they ease the chance of getting cash. They are not going about trying to pursue them. It doesn't speak well. It doesn't speak well. We are the ones that relate with the last mile. If there is anything to be done, they need to relate with us, because to any policy they are forming, they got information from we that relate with the last mile. CBN doesn't relate with the last mile. It's the agent that relate with the last mile. So this is a serious issue that CBN needs to look into. I wouldn't think against the cashless policy, because we are even overripe for that. But what is lacking here is communication. CBN should communicate to people how best they can benefit from this. Because if you look at it very well, is a policy that is going to help us to reduce the level of crime, and also it's going to help us to generate more income to the economy, and also is going to help us to stop the leakage in corruption. So it's a nice policy coming at the right time, and people that are saying this policy are just coming, no, this policy has been there for about 12 years ago. Quite a number of policies have become, but nothing was being done. So if the CBN could take the boom by the horn now, I say, okay, we want to promote this cashless environment, financial inclusion, I think it's a good one, but they need to communicate to people to have a better understanding of what it's all about and how you can position yourself to benefit from this.
Thank you so much for that vivid explanation. And the president on Friday, that was 2 days ago, said that the remaining 7 days for the whole extension to expire, that he promises to get down to the problem of this cash crunch. And today is Sunday, meaning we have 5 days left. Today is 5th of February already. We have 5 days to the deadline, which is 10th of February. The situation we have out there, do you feel like these 5 days might be enough to effect much change? Because according to the president, he blames the bank. He said it's the bank that are being too selfish, and that is the reason these newly designed notes are not in everyone's hand yet. So do you feel that 5 days might be enough to really get down to the bottom of this, and these long queues and fighting at the ATM will come to an end?
Well, 5 days could be enough. 5 days could not be enough. Depends on what CBN want to achieve. Just like I said earlier, this can be achieved, but you are only limiting this to the bank. Don't limit it to the banks. The agents are there to help you to really push this. All you need to do, just need to categorize the agent. Let's have the standard agent, as we have super agent already. Let's have the standard agent, and the standard agent has terms and conditions. If that terms and conditions have been met, then all what CBN needs to do is to just create an avenue for the agent to have access to funds. Maybe there should be a portal like we have an association now. All the standard agents on our portal, all the aggregator, let them register with CBN, let them be identified with CBN, and this portal, all the banks in Nigeria have access to it. So these standard agents are the one to cater for the retail agents in their environment, and by so doing, those retail agents have access to funds through the standard agent, and they're able to serve their community effectively. So this can be achieved either 5 days or not 5 days, depends on the planning. So CBN needs to go back to drawing board and make an adequate planning to see how best they can incorporate agents into this exercise so that they can achieve a better result.
Okay, all right, thank you very much for that. And now let us look at the attitude of Nigerians lately. This past week have been brutal at ATM stand. You see people lining for hours. Some would be there for close to 5 hours. They'd get to the front of the ATM and then that's it, the cash is gone. The ATM is dry. How would you rate how people have been conducting themselves at ATM stands? We've seen people going naked, beating each other. It is very sad, if we must say. And since we know that this cashless policy, it seems it has come to stay, how are Nigerians? How would you rate the attitude of Nigerians towards it?
Yeah, the attitude is very bad. It's very poor. There is no doubt about that. But the bottom line is that people are not. It's not. I wouldn't say people were caught unaware. If you are to be sincere with us, people are not caught unaware. But what really bring about this issue is the note redesign. You see, there are two things here. We have to understand what we are trying to promote or we are trying to address. Let me put that to you. There are two things here. We have a financial inclusion cashless policy, and we have a note redesign. Are you getting it? Assuming the notes were not being redesigned, I don't think we'll be having this issue. So we have to understand that and get that clear. So there are two different things: cashless policy, financial inclusion. That's one on one side. Then road design, the note that's being redesigned is what is given on the issue, because you've told the people to go and deposit all they have, not knowing they are going to extend it. Everybody have done that, and they expect that, okay, their expectation is that when they get to the bank, they should get the new note, but they are not getting the new notes. So what do you expect from them? So some people believe the only way they can express themselves is through violence, and when they do that, they will achieve their result. So they do it. So you have to express yourself whichever way you think is best for you to express yourself, that you achieve your result. So I won't blame anybody for going crazy going naked, going nude, trying to express ourselves in order to achieve what we want to achieve. Is that what it takes? Is that what they will do? So we can't blame them. We can't blame them. Imagine someone is sick, need to get money to buy some drugs, and will not get the money. A lot of people have died because of this policy. A lot has been happening. So some students do not go to school, some parents do not take care of their family very well because they don't have access to cash. And we can't rule it out. Nigeria is still a cash-based economy, but for us to really promote financial inclusion, we have to educate people, let people understand what it's all about, how you can achieve this. For instance, let's look at it from this angle. CBN wants every individual to have access to 20,000 cash on a daily basis, which I think is meant for domestic use. And any other transaction, any other financial transaction you want to do should be channeled through alternate means of payment. So, and we have quite a number of them, which POS is just one out of multiple channels of payment we have in this country. We have quite a number of companies that have developed a collection platform. They've developed a lot of apps that people can be used to be financial inclusion. And one thing we have to understand here again is that there is difference between financial inclusion and cashless policy. But cashless policy is just a roadmap to achieve adequate financial inclusion. But when you are talking about cashless policy or cashless society, it means that you are trying to reduce the number of cash in circulation. And once you are trying to do that, then there should be an alternative means of making payments for goods and services, of which those alternative means are already in existence, but people are not embracing it. So what CBN needs to do is to work with the agents, like I said earlier. We are the ones to educate people, orientate people, and guide people through on how to make use of their of other means, other channels of payments. They are in the system already, but people don't know how to go about it. That is why agent is much relevant at this crucial stage.
Some people are of the opinion that perhaps Nigeria is not yet ripe for cashless policy, because if we look at the rural areas, for the past few days now, USSD codes of a lot of banks have not been working well. Even the bank apps used for transfer, a lot of people have complaints that their bank apps are not working. So if the bank apps are not working, USSD are not working, and these are means of payment that we could use apart from using raw cash to pay. With all this going on, would you still say that Nigeria is 100% ready for cashless policy?
Yeah, I wouldn't say 100%, but the infrastructures have been put in place, just like I said. But because people are not using it, then the bank have not made provision for expansion as well. Assuming we've adopted this, we've been using this, then banks will have been making provision, and the MMO also will have been able for expansion. So because of this a little itch in the cash swap, then a lot of people now bombard the platform, of which they never expected. So that's where they're having the issue. So the system has been there ever since, but they've not made a provision for an expansion. So look at the volume of people that now go online there, use USSD to do transaction. So it's affected. That's why this time is kind of slow, because it's witnessing the crowd that has not been ever witnessed since the corporation of those apps or of those USSD. So that's why they are having those issues. Not that we are not ripe, but you see, when you are doing, for instance now, you only make provision for 10 million transactions per day for a month, and within a week you are getting that number of transactions. What will happen? It will affect your platform. But assuming it has been doing it has been done gradually, as people are approaching you, they are doing the transaction, then you also make provision for expansion. You expand gradually. So I think that's the main issue why those banks platform are having, and the ML platform are having issue, because they are experiencing a volume that have not been experiencing so far for the past 12 years. So that's just it. So all they need to do now is just to go and expand and make more provision for expansion, to be ready that Nigeria are going to bombard them with a lot of transactions via electronic channel and so. So that's just it.
All right, we thank you so much for that.